Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another rant, and this is going to be a very sad, unfortunate event. Usually I would bash people for going on dating apps, but only if they're of age, and I'm talking about like adults. This kid happens to be 17 years old, he's the homecoming king, he's 17 years old, he plays basketball for Marquette, as you can tell, and he had a lot going for him, so let me get straight to the point. Although this is going to be very sad, hope you guys don't get depressed for while I talk about this. Obviously you won't. I'm sure you're gonna bawl some tears out of your eyes if I talk about what caused it and what this kid was looking for, and clearly he was the victim of it. So I don't know how like he even met this girl. Like, I'm pretty sure how it transpired. He was maybe some girl hooked him up, was complimenting his skills and talking about how good looking he is, and they claimed that they were a teenager just like him. So apparently, I don't even know if this is true, but because the reason why I'm even doing this video, to be honest with you guys, because my mom brought this up, and I just decided to do my research anyways because I was curious. Because I was wondering who this kid was, and if he was actually had a scholarship to the end, if he possibly had a scholarship for college. So I was thinking, what if, well, because I do play basketball myself. I'm not the best player out there, but I was curious whether if there was any colleges out there scouting for him. So I was curious as to what potential he might have, but I didn't get really. I saw him make a layup. I definitely saw a few of his basketball highlights. You can tell he's very like feel like he's very ruthless. He's very fierce when he handles the ball, and he can pretty much score in front of the defender. That's all I can say right now. But so what I understand is, like, I think my mom pretty much told me this, but apparently the teenage girl, was manipulating him by considering how beautiful she was. She was showing nudes of herself, and in order to persuade him to, in return, to show nudes of himself as well, but then failed to realize that she would take screenshots, and they would blackmail him, and they would try to extort him even more money. So I'll explain the money afterwards, how much money they wanted. So they threatened him by blackmailing, saying, we're gonna send this to your family, we're gonna send this to all your friends at school. And he was pressured into actually giving them money. They're asking, give us everything. How much do you have? He says he only has 300. And they said if he had $3,500, that they would remove all the photos, that they would let him live a peaceful, quiet life. But 100% guarantee you, they were not going to keep their word. So even though he paid them he gave him all his money, even though the nudes were leaked, this really pissed me off, because like, we don't even know, like, even we know it's a teenager, but whether if more than one person is involved, they should be held accountable. But in this case, it's really hard to hold somebody accountable when, even though it was Jordan Demay that committed suicide, which really does absolutely suck. Because, he he literally tells them outright. Even from the law's office, they even said, one of the officers, whether he was a sergeant or not, they said they was confirmed that he told them, no, you know what, you win. I'm gonna kill myself. And you know what the aggressor says? They're like, go ahead, do it. Like, it really says a lot about the world we live in, Cersei. Like, this reminds me a lot like the Amanda Todd situation. Yeah, he was ignorant, he was young, he was dumb to do that in the first place. But yet to tell somebody to commit suicide for making this one tiny mistake, considering that they themselves aren't fully developed, he's still a kid. And you pressure him even more. Like, that shows that these people that do this kind of act, this heinous act, fucking have no life. That's what irritates me. Why they went through all the trouble because they want to take advantage on top of making a profit. Like, And what really pisses me off is that they are not going. Although yes, they should be held accountable. I don't think the law is even try to get involved with them, because he apparently, even though he consented, he literally, even though he wasn't pressured, yes, he was the one who sent them the pictures. But at the same time, they were trying to take advantage of him. They were revealing nudes of a minor. But yet, they are gonna get a slap on their wrist. That's why they feel, for them, that they had no issue showing it to his folks out there, wanting to expose this kid, wanting to leak nudes, because they feel that they wanted power. They were on a power trip. They were under a power trip, seriously. And yo, imagine, this kid had potential. I feel like he, considering how where he was going, he was happy. He looked like he didn't seem like a bad person. Like, he seemed like he had a lot going for him. And for it to immediately, his life just to just to fade because of a few mistakes. Let me explain about the Mandatot situation, because some people may not be familiar with that. The thing is that, yes, even though it was proven that she leaked several nudes before, like, and this may have not been her first time, but it's like, how does a person deserve to die for showing nudes? As long as they're not threatening, taking nudes of other minors and posting online and putting their life at risk, then I can understand being angry at that person. But for even if someone decides, even though it's not an accident, because I can't contradict myself, even though it's not an accident, it's a mistake. They didn't realize the aftermath. They didn't realize it would go as far as leading them to be in the situation that they're in right now. But the thing was, with the Mandarin, people were bashing her because she was, even because it's not her first time. But again, like, she didn't deserve to die. He didn't deserve to die either way. But like, because but the thing was that, because I think it's because this kid had potential. He had something coming for him in the future. He could have maybe been able to make something of himself. He could have been an all-star player. He could have had a lot of fans. People would be willing to support him. They are impressed with his skills. I don't know his entirety of his basketball career, his what he does throughout his high school, like as a freshman, as a senior. He's definitely not a freshman. He's definitely almost in his senior year now. Probably gonna turn 18. Was probably gonna graduate. But again, like, this really fucking sucks, because he had a lot going for him. And I guarantee he was probably not a bad kid. He was not a bad person. He seemed like he was enjoying life. He had a lot of friends. He adapted with a lot of people. They hanged out there at the pool. They were in class trying to learn. Like, he felt like he was willing to improve his life. He wanted to become a better person. But something like this will follow them, and even though the problem issue was that he should not committed suicide, because I guarantee you, Jordan Demay, he had a lot of people who was willing to be there for him. They were willing to have faith in him. They were willing to give him confidence. They were willing to give him that morale boost, and they sympathize with him, because they see that he was just, whether he was a lonely kid, he was just a kid who made a mistake and felt like now this is going to affect him for the rest of his life, and he feels that he can't be forgiven for it. That's why he decided to take the dark path, because what I mean, like, this is still like the wrong path. Committing suicide, no way, man. I feel so bad, honestly. And you can tell the 100% the family is mourning for their son, the friends too, because I'll be honest, I wanted him to live a successful life, because I was curious what type of basketball career he would have. And it sucks because this kid had potential. Imagine what he could have been able to provide, what he had in store for the NCAA, for college basketball. And then for it to be ruined. Now we can't even see what's going to happen. We don't know what kind of player he could have been. He could have been the next Tyler Hero. I know I'm exaggerating, but maybe he is that player that I'm referring to, like, that he could have amounted so much. as to become a very huge athlete. And I don't mean literally huge, I mean like a strong, healthy athlete who can be able to support his team players, who can be able to develop and further his NBA basketball skills, whether he's not in the NBA yet, but can eventually lead to that again. But he was the homecoming king. But I feel like, in my opinion, this is my final thoughts. I feel like even when he made that mistake, to be real honest, I don't think people would have like criticized. I'm sure people would. There would have been a few that would have criticized him, but I feel like the majority would have been on his side because they know the type. He's not. They know he's a really cool kid. He's a really cool person. He doesn't seem like the kind of person like that just doesn't have like a lack of lifestyle. You can tell he lives that life. He really has a life though. So you would think there'd be a amount of kids that, in my opinion, really support him, really respect him for the person that he is, because he has a lot to show for. He has talent. Because when you have talent, and you were able to do so much, whether it is like excel in school, excel in sports, yeah, people are gonna respect you and they're gonna trust you. I feel like most of that trust that would still been with him. Although yes, there are people who would have thought it was weird that he did that. You'll have some people, but considering how much he's amounted, throughout, from judging from this picture, you can tell he looks like he's done a lot for himself, and he was potentially would have made it out and become very popular. And trust me, some people knows the popular you are, the respect that you have, you may lose some because of what you did and because of that one time mistake. But I don't think this kid realized that there are still people that will look up to him and respect him and still consider him a role model. But this unfortunately does suck because he himself, I guarantee, was a role model for those other kids or people his age, and that they want him to be able to become someone even bigger. Because when people see that they respect you, they realize that even when if you make one or two mistakes, they'll forgive you. And the reason why I bring up, that's how fans are. It's like when you even if a person's not a big celebrity, if they notice your skills and they notice the amount of knowledge that you have, people will refuse to look down on you because they feel like you can do better. And I'm sure 100% this kid would have done better. Even though, yeah, he shouldn't have ignored the situation, and yet it should have been handled by law enforcement. But again, it sucks because of the world that we live in. Because not everything is gonna be just clear as day. It's gonna fade in just a short moment. But sometimes you have to move past. He should have again. But my advice, he should have moved past this and be able to focus more on himself. He shouldn't have even given the money. Yes, they would have leaked nudes at the same time, but yeah, if it did escalate, yeah, having law enforcement involved, if they can't do anything, it sucks. That's all I'm saying, because I'm really, there's nothing else for me to say, because it's all up to law to decide, and I can't do that. I wish I was to be able to pursue this. If I was part of that situation, if I was any close to figuring that if I have to be responsible, then yes, but I'm not, because that's not my place to do so. And again, it's fortunate this kid did end up committing suicide. And I wish this does happen to any new other athletes, young athletes out there. And then if they look at this, if there are other kids that look at this, they should be able to learn from this and be able to avoid being in this situation, so they don't end up sad, where to the point that they may end up losing their lives and their families end up mourning for them. Now they realize now they have a child that can succeed, and it's unfortunate. Again, my condolences to the family, and it sucks because now the family, I guarantee, is grieving, and I wish them the best. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.